Okay, good morning again. This is notebook page 46, notes, day 3. Okay, these are a little more wordy, and there are also some coin problems, number 3 and 4. Coin problems, I've also posted another video because they're a little more challenging than just the average of what we've been doing. So if you need a little more help with coin problems, you can get on the Google Meet and ask me questions, or you can watch the video. You can also just Google like systems of equations coin problems. Okay, here we go. Number 1, the cost of 5 squash and 2 zucchini is $1.32. 3 squash and 1 zucchini cost 75 cents. Find the cost of each vegetable. So I'm going to use actually the Q for squash because it's hard to have an S and 5 right next to each other because you will get confused which one's which. So I'm going to use a Q for the cost of one squash. And then I'm going to use a Z for the cost of 1 zucchini. Now I need to make my equations. Systems of equations means 2 unknowns, 2 equations. Okay, so 5 squash and 2 zucchini. So 5 squash plus 2 zucchini cost me $1.32. And then my second equation, 3 squash and 1 zucchini. So 3 squash and 1 zucchini cost me 75 cents. Be very careful about where you put your decimal. And remember to not turn 75 cents into $75 by forgetting your decimal. Okay? So now you can use any method that you want. Some people are going to use substitution. Some people are going to use elimination. Some people want to use equals values method. So just be very careful about which method you choose. If I see a 1, I'm going to use substitution because it's quite easy to subtract what I have here and just have Z is equal to 75 cents minus 3Q. And now using substitution, I can take this and plug it in for the Q. So now, for the Z, sorry. So now I have 5Q plus 2, and instead of writing Z, I'm going to write 75 cents minus 3Q is equal to $1.32. Now I'm going to solve for Q. So I'm going to distribute. So 2 times 75 cents is $1.50. 2 times negative 3Q is negative 6Q. Putting my Q's together and subtracting $1.50 from both sides. Line your decimal up, use a calculator. I have negative 1Q is equal to negative 0.18. Divide by negative 1, and Q is equal to 18 cents. So that means the cost of 1 squash is 18 cents. Now I have to get the cost of each vegetable, so I need zucchini. So I'm going to take this and plug it in to the other equation and get the cost for a zucchini. Plugging in my 18 cents. 0.75 minus 3 times negative 1.8. I'm sorry, not negative, 0.18. So 3 times 0.18. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract 75 cents, and I end up getting 21 cents. So now to actually answer the question, I have to find the cost of each vegetable. So each squash cost 18 cents, and each zucchini cost 21 cents. Okay, next, Judy worked 8 hours and Ben worked 10 hours. Their combined pay was $80. Judy worked 9 hours, Ben worked 5 hours, and their combined pay was $65. Find the hourly rate of pay for each person. So I have J for Judy's hourly rate. and I have B for Ben's hourly rate. So now my two equations, 8 hours, Judy works 8 hours. So 8J, 8 hours times her hourly rate is what she's going to make. Plus Ben worked 10 hours, and they made $80. When Judy worked 9 hours, and Ben worked 5 hours, they make $65. Okay? So now you are going to try to solve for J and for B, and you can maybe use elimination this time. I think that would be easiest. So I'm going to multiply each by -2, -2, and -2, because then -2 times 5 is -10, which will actually cancel out my B's. So I'm just going to rewrite this underneath here. -2 times gives me -18J plus -10B, and then 65 times -2 is a -130. And now I'm going to write this right underneath so that I can use elimination. And I already have my columns set up. So in my columns, I'm going to go straight down. 8J minus 18J is -10J. These guys go away. 80 minus 130 gives me -50, dividing by -10, and J is equal to 5. So that means he's pretty cheap labor, right? He only costs $5. Judy's hourly rate is really only $5 per hour. Okay, now I need to find Ben's. So now I'm going to take this and plug it in wherever I would like in the J. So I could plug it in here, I could plug it in here. Just because these are smaller numbers, I'm going to choose to plug it in right here. So I'm going to do 9 times J, which is 5, plus 5B is equal to 65. So this is 45 plus 5B is equal to 65. I'm solving for B. I wrote B instead of. Okay, and so 5B is equal to 20, B is equal to 4. So now I have to actually write my answer. So Judy's hourly rate is $5, and Ben's hourly rate is $4. Okay. Okay, coin problems. Rob has 40 coins. All dimes and quarters were $7.60. How many dimes and quarters do they have? Okay, coin problems, you have two types of equations. You have one equation with the total number of coins, and then one equation with the dollar parts, like the money parts, okay? So the first equation is the amount. So I have dimes and quarters, and I have 40 total coins. So D is equal to the number of dimes, Q is equal to the number of quarters. So I have just the actual amount. I have some amount of dimes and some amount of quarters, and I have 40 total. So I could have 20 dimes and 20 quarters. I could have 30 and 10. I could have 10 and 30. Okay. Then the money equation, I have to do the values. So the value of a dime is 10 cents. Plus the value of a quarter is 25 cents. And I have a total value of $7.60. So that's how you write your two equations in what we call coin problems. Now you can use substitution or you could use elimination. I tend to use substitution because it's the easiest for me. But you could have multiplied by -0.1 or -0.25. Oh, I needed a Q right there, huh? 25 cents per quarter. Okay, now D is equal to this, means I plug it in for D. So I have 0.10, and instead of writing dime, I have 40 minus Q. Now I'm going to figure this out, distribute. 0.10 times 40 is 4. 0.10 times negative Q is negative 0.10 Q, plus 0.25 Q is equal to 760. Putting my Q's together, subtracting 4, I have 0.15 Q is equal to 360. And then I'm going to divide it by 1.5. And Q is equal to 24. So now I know the value of quarters is 24 quarters. Now I take this and plug it in right here, and to figure out the number of dimes, 40 minus 24, and the number of dimes is 16. So my actual answer is Rob has 24 quarters and 16 dimes. Okay, let's try another one. Kelly has 24 dimes and quarters worth $3.60. So she has an amount of 24 total. So she has dimes plus quarters is equal to 24. That's your amount. Then you have the money equation, which is 10 cents per dime plus 25 cents per quarter. And that's a total of $3.60. Again, I use substitution, so D is equal to the number of dimes, and Q is equal to the number of quarters. And I use substitution, so subtract Q from both sides, and D is equal to 24 minus Q. Now I take this and plug it in for D. 0.10, and instead of writing D, I replaced it with 24 minus Q. And then I have to distribute. So that's 2.4 minus 0.10 Q. Put my Q's together, subtract 2.4 from both sides. And when I put my Q's together, I have 0.15 Q and 360 minus 2.4 is positive 1.2, and when you divide, I get Q is equal to 8. Now I have Q, I plug it back in, and D is equal to 24 minus Q, which is 8, and D is equal to 16. So this time Kelly has 8 quarters and 16 dimes. All right, and number 5, the talent show committee sold a total of 530 tickets in advance. Student tickets cost $3 each and adult tickets cost $4 each. The total receipts were $1,740. So they made a total of $1,740. How many of each type of ticket were sold? So I have adult tickets plus student tickets. I'm going to actually use a K for kid tickets because S is confusing. And I sold 530. So I have A is number of adult tickets, and K I'm using for the number of student kid tickets. And so I again have an amount equation, and then I have a money equation. So my money equation is $3 per kid ticket plus $4 per adult ticket, and I made a total of $17.40. You could again use substitution, just like we did above, and solve this, or you could multiply, I'm going to use elimination, multiply each by -3. And I have negative 3a minus 3k is equal to, and then -3 times 530. So this is if you wanted to use elimination. And I'm going to move it over here, and I have -3. Oh, I got to put it in order. Put it in order. So the k's and the a's are in different order. So I'm going to -3k minus 3a is equal to -1590. And now they're in columns, k's on top of a's, and then equal signs, and then money. So these go away, and now I have 1a is equal to, and then I have 1740 minus 1590 is equal to 150. So that means I sold 150 adult tickets. Now I take A is equal to 150 and plug it right in here. So I have 150 plus K is equal to 530. Subtract 150. And K is equal to 530 minus 150, 380. Actually answering the questions, we're going to just say they sold 150 adult and 380 student tickets. Okay, thank you very much. See you later.